Uno. All right, we are live here. Welcome, welcome, one and all, whoever's out there watching. I think there are a couple people who should be coming in real quick, so we'll give them a quick minute. We're a minute early because we're just like that today, and it's pretty exciting. We're here with Spencer Burnett. He is an incredible, powerful, transformational coach, and he's developed a precise language technique that helps people develop an incredible mindset, incredible personal power. And he's going to share a little bit about his journey, a little bit about how you can use some of his methods to improve your life and become incredibly powerful. And I'm just really grateful that you're here. Before we get cooking right into your story, I'd love for you to share, what's something that you're grateful for and what's something that has been giving you a lot of joy recently.
Oh, man. All right. Well, the thing that I think that I'm the most grateful for is that I have built a life where I have command over my attention. So very rarely am I at a point in time where I'm in a position that I don't want to be in, where I would just rather be somewhere else, which really allows me to be present and excited with everything that I'm doing. So, and the thing that brings me a lot of joy is just creating. Like, I really try to develop techniques and programs and mindsets and reframes that I would want, that I need. And then I like to share those with everybody else. So that's what I spend most of my time doing. And there's, when you're doing the thing that you love doing the most, like, time just flies by, or it seems to stand still, or, you're just always in that state of joy. So most of my day consists of that. And that makes me really happy.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here. We're here, if you're just coming on, we're here with Spencer Burnett, creator of Invincible Academy and Identity Imprinting. And he's going to be sharing a little bit about how you can rewire your brain for success and for power. So why don't you take it away and share a little bit about where you started in this whole journey of life and how you kind of ended up doing what you're doing now?
Yeah. So my journey started at 8 years old. And when I was born, I was born with an autoimmune disease called periodic fever syndrome. I was the 14th person diagnosed with it. And essentially what it is it's like mono on steroids for your entire life. So when I would get a fever, it would be 102 to 106.5 degrees. I wouldn't eat, sleep, shit, move for 3 to 7 days. And essentially, if you wanted to torture somebody, that's the kind of thing that you would do to them. And so in my lifetime, I've gone through an episode like that over 200 times. So I've been physically tortured over 200 times in my life. And my mom was very proactive. My parents were very proactive in seeing me well. And so I had been to every type of doctor you can think of, man. Everything from Western medicine, Eastern medicine, homeopathy, prayer circles. I mean, I'd done like all the traditional stuff and all of the weird woo-woo stuff. And when I was 8 years old, I was brought to a clinical psychologist that was doing a study on teaching kids guided imagery, essentially NLP. And NLP is neuro-linguistic programming. It's computer programming for the human mind, and teaching kids these NLP techniques for pain management. And what I realized at that point was, when I did these techniques, I was able to manage my pain the way that no medicine could. And looking back on it, I now realized that my mind was more powerful than the collective history of all Western medicine. And when I learned this, the secret of creating what you want in life, whether it's getting over trauma or achieving a big goal or a big vision, it all comes down to the knowingness that your internal reality, your imagination, is more real than your external reality. And when you can embody that with your thoughts, your words, and your actions, then that is what gives that is the mode of operation that gives you the power to do whatever the heck you want. And so from there, I realized that your beliefs and your identity is always being reflected by your actions. And so if you wanted it to step into something new, learn something new, be something different, it all came down to shifting your belief system in order for you to be able to perform. And since then, I've done all types of crazy things. Everything. I started my first business when I was 18 years old. I taught at the National Personal Training Institute. I regionally toured for 9 months as a guitar player and singer.
Awesome.
I've done consulting in business systems and in sales. I was a dating and sex coach for 9 years, and I was a bodybuilder for 2 years. I won the teen heavyweight state championship, and then I went to nationals. And now I'm essentially a mind mechanic that helps people rewire their mind. So whatever it is that you want to be, I can show you how to program your subconscious so you behave in a way that's almost effortless as you pursue that thing that you want to become or do.
Wow. Can you repeat that last portion one more time? Because I think that's incredible. But like, just say it one more time for me, because you've done so many amazing things, and then you kind of whizzed right through it.
Yeah.
I missed it.
So basically, when you want to rewire, when you want to be something or do something or get over something, all you need to do is rewire your mind. So your conscious desires become your subconscious programming. And when your subconscious programming identifies with something, it becomes absolutely effortless to execute. So I'll give you an example. I'm taking it you brushed your teeth this morning, right?
I did.
Okay.
You knew it. How'd you know it?
And my question is, did you have that on a to-do list, a project management board, or your schedule, or anything like that?
No, I didn't.
And you consistently brush your teeth every single day without having to remind yourself, without having to motivate yourself or get pumped to do it, or to have some type of accountability that if you don't do it, you get punished. If you do it 10 days in a row, you reward yourself. No, you just do it because you identify as a hygienic person. And so you almost feel gross when you don't, because it's against your identity. Now imagine if you wanted to be a professional artist, if you wanted to build a business, if you wanted to build a community, if you wanted to be an actor, or if you wanted to, whatever it is, and you were able to identify with that and wire yourself, just like your mind is wired to be hygienic, how easy would it be to pick up the phone, make that phone call, to practice your art, to do all of the necessary actions required in order to be that person? And that's what I show people how to do.
Wow. That's amazing. And then is that what you call identity imprinting?
Yes. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Awesome. Wow. Well, thank you for that, like, brief and yet thorough, review of like what led you up to this kind of moment of us being here on the phone. If anyone that's watching right now, we're here with Spencer Burnett. He is an incredible transformational coach, course creator, and then we're going to be talking more about identity imprinting, which is Spencer's specialty. And so, yeah, I want to keep plugging your name so that people chime in, that they're like, "Who is this guy?"
Yeah.
And then I answered that question.
Appreciate
it. Awesome. So how does it? So I want to ask two questions. How does it work? And then, like, why does it work? And then, yeah.
Okay.
If you'd be open to sharing that.
Absolutely. So your brain is constantly creating beliefs, and we're always behaving in the way in ordinance of those beliefs. Okay, and the way that the brain creates beliefs is it has an image or an experience. Okay, and then it has an emotion associated to it, and those two things create the belief. Okay, so you taste ice cream, you get happy. I like ice cream, so when there's ice cream in front of you, you then eat ice cream. Makes pretty common sense, right? And
right.
so
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
And so the way that our brains like deeply imprint these beliefs is through there's three different elements to it. There's repetition, the emotion that you feel while experiencing it, and then there is the evidence. And so when you have an affirmation, okay, and you ask me what I'm joyful for, and I have my affirmations all over my computer here, and there's one right here that says, "Oh, I'm constantly tripping over joyful moments." Okay,
Ooh,
and so this is
so
what makes me
juicy.
joyful all the time. I know. I love the tripping part because it's almost like by accident. Like, oh my gosh, like this just
Yes.
happened. This
Oh,
makes me joyful, right?
yeah. Like
And
you
so,
don't have to go out and seek joyful moments. They kind of fall into you. By
yeah, I trip over them.
yeah, you're just like constantly walking into them.
Yeah. So
That's awesome. Okay, sorry. So go on.
when people typically do, affirmations, right? They usually they usually only address the first part, just repeat it over and over again. I'm constantly tripping over joyful moments. I'm constantly tripping over joyful moments. Constantly trip, and like repetition works, but it's not super powerful. But while you are saying that, if you're actually thinking about the joyful moments that you're tripping over. Okay. So today I've got one I just came up with. Today I was looking for this blue shirt that I wanted to wear for our interview today. And I'm like, oh, where is it? Where is it? And I've been looking for it, and I just got my dry cleaning back, and today it snapped in my mind of where it was. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's almost like I got a free shirt because I was gonna have to go buy another one. And so when I think
Oh
of
wow.
that, I'm like, oh, awesome. Like I thought it was lost, but now it's not, right? And in that
Yeah.
I experienced joy in that. The more joy that you experience, the deeper the imprint. So if it's, you find $1 in your
Mm,
pocket, and you're writing an affirmation like, I receive money in expected and unexpected ways, right? Okay, that's a great
mhm.
money affirmation. And you're
Right.
imprinting it, at the beginning of the day, and you find $1 in your pocket. You're just like, oh, sweet. But if you find $100 in your pocket, that creates a stronger piece of evidence that that this is actually true, because there's
Mhm.
more emotion involved. And so when you're projecting out your affirmations, it's so crucial to be in that state where you're actually feeling it. So you can experience something that is so strong that the repetition is merely just one, and it affects you forever. This is how PTSD works, where you experience something that was super, super traumatic, and now it's imprinted in your brain.
Wow.
I've been in one car accident. I was in a car accident where my car turned and then flipped back around, and I smashed against the median, the side of my car. I am forever a nervous passenger in a car. That happened one time, and every time I get in a car, I literally think about crashing. And so that is an example of how something can happen once with a huge amount of emotion and be stuck with you forever. On the other hand, any bad habit,
Right.
like if you're smoking, watching TV, pornography, masturbation, like those are not
Mhm.
super impactful as getting in a car accident. But when the repetition is just over and over and over again, it's really hard to break those habits because that habit's been imprinted through repetition. Does this make sense?
It makes total sense. So
Cool.
I just want to, because you move so quickly, Spencer. It's amazing. But I want to make sure that I'm following you and that everyone else is. So you said there are three elements that it takes to put into imprinting.
Mm-hmm.
So could you review just the three steps one more time? Just say them again. So it was repetition,
Yep. The level of emotion,
emotion,
and then evidence.
and evidence. Okay.
Evidence.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in that example that you just gave, it was that okay, so I take on money. Are you okay? I know
Yeah. Just
you
water
sound
down the wrong
okay.
tube.
Yeah, that happens. But anyway, okay, so in the example you just gave, I find money in expected and unexpected ways. That's the affirmation. And so
Hmm.
repeating that daily would be what you're saying.
Right.
And then when something happens, you want to infuse it with joy. You want to be conscious about what you're the emotion that you're attaching to that
Mm-hmm.
thing. And then the evidence is like, oh, I found $1 in my pocket. Like that
Right.
really happened. I am really this person.
Yep.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
So
Awesome.
that's like how it works. So if you think about your conscious desire and your outcome in your brain, there is a neural pathway. It's almost like a road, right? And think about
Mhm.
if you had a let's think about it in terms of like, creating like a little river for water to transfer down, right? What we'd want
Yeah.
is we'd want a deep trench that's reinforced, right? And so that water
Yeah.
is representative of your intention of what you want and what you actually get connecting. Okay. So
Okay.
repetition is like, imagine if we had a stick in the dirt trying to create a channel, and repetition is just going over it over and over again. And then the
Right.
amount of emotion that you feel is how hard you're pressing down, right? And then
Mhm.
evidence is actually like reinforcing it with concrete, so it doesn't get messed with, over time. And that's how
Right.
we create new neural pathways, so our intentions and our results become the same thing.
Mm. That is so powerful, Spencer. And I love how it's just broken down into the three steps. Is there more? Is there more to do beyond that? Like,
Um,
so,
so
and then you just do that every day, or
Yeah, so that's more of an explanation of how the brain creates habits,
right?
beliefs, actions. So the methodology that I
Gotcha.
developed is the identity imprinting. Essentially, is projecting who you want to be in the morning, and then collecting
Hmm.
evidence throughout the day, and then reflecting at night. So this is so like when you want to embody something, it's all about the confidence that you are that person. And just mindset coaches all the time talk about be your best self and build confidence, but no one actually explains like how that works. And like,
Yeah.
are you more confident? Yes, prove it. How do you prove that you're more confident? How do you measure whether you're more confident this week than you were last week? That's what identity imprinting does.
Mm,
So what confidence is the level of certainty that you have of what you proclaim to be true and it actually being true. So if it works like a credit score, if you have a high credit score and you borrow $100,000, there's a high level of certainty that you're going to pay it back. And what's the credit score based on? It's based on evidence. What have you borrowed in
right.
the past? What have you paid back? And so if
Yeah.
you can create this type of score for yourself when it comes to the beliefs that you need to embody to become who you want, then we can measure that. And if that score is not going up, we then can investigate using precise language on where your monsters are kind of slipping into that belief that's causing you to for that your score not to go up so much. So it's 3 simple steps twice a day. And legit, dude, this takes 10 minutes a day and it is an absolute game changer. And before I share this,
Mm,
I tell everybody this, like what I'm about to share with you will absolutely change your life. 100% guaranteed, because it's mechanics. It's not theory. And so, it's just as certain as gravity. So don't take the simplicity of this lightly, because a lot of times we feel like change has to be difficult, like we have to earn it, somehow. When
mhm.
change just requires focus and consistency. And
Yeah.
so if you choose to watch this, watch our this conversation we're having and just be like, oh, it's a good idea. It's not going to do much for you. Or if you take your life real seriously, you take your dream seriously, and you apply this, it's absolutely going to change the game for you. So that being said, the way that it works is you choose 3 affirmations every single day, and you write them down. So I've got I'm a receiving machine. That's a really good one too. I like that.
Super
Um,
good.
yeah, here's a good one.
And would you cap it at 3? Only 3.
Yeah, and I'll explain why later. I
Sure.
move quickly, work hard, and get shit done. It's another one.
Mm.
All right.
Some of that GSD.
I spend quality time with my resistance. That one's a little more advanced. But I write these down, and then I ask myself, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do I actually believe this? And now this is your time to be objectively honest with yourself. This isn't the fake it till you make it type thing. Like, really, like, how do you feel about it? So
Right.
if if you
Can I?
oh yeah, go ahead.
What? So anyone listening, and I'm taking this myself as well, but so, it doesn't have to be, there's no right or wrong when it comes to this 1 to 10 scale. It's whatever is true for you. It doesn't need to be what your friends think about you. It doesn't need to be what your family thinks about you. It's only what you truly believe, and it's not bad. It's not wrong to be a 1 in confidence, and it's not
Mhm.
bad or wrong or good or bad to be a 10. So I just want to put that out there, because that's something that I'm a big proponent of. Like, there's no wrong and bad about like how you feel about yourself.
Mm.
So I just want to put that out there. Sorry, go on though. So rate yourself
Yeah,
on that.
yeah, and that's a
1 to 10.
Yeah, and that's a great point. This isn't a time to judge yourself. This is a time to be aware of yourself. So step 1 is awareness. Like, how do you truly feel about that? I remember when I very first did this is when I was working on, being a marketer, right? And I struggled with marketing so bad. And I was working with a coach, and I would state out loud, like, I am a marketer. And it felt like a 3. And I was like, I don't buy that. I don't buy that at all. It's like, I'm so bad. I'm just so bad at it. And so what I do then is you make that statement, and I rated it 1 to 10, and it was a 3. And then I asked myself the question, what could I do today? Just go in your imagination. What could I do today to demonstrate that that belief is true? That I am a marketer. And so I could, I can put out an email to my list. I can do a live with you. I could, and all the things that I could do, right? And then I repeat it. I repeat it like 3 to 5 times out to myself. And this is where you kind of like try to fake it till you make it. I am a marketer. I, Spencer, am a marketer. I am a marketer, right? And you just try to jazz yourself up a little bit. Then, or as much as you can. Then step 2, go throughout your day and collect evidence. So when you go to the third part, the end of the night, we go in to, I actually have a form for everyone like that I've got something that reminds you every day to do your imprints.
Is this the free identity imprinting training?
Yeah, here, I'll put it in the,
I got you right here.
Oh, I think we both put it in there. So dope, it's down there. So you go and you state it again. I am a marketer. And then before you rate it again, you ask yourself the question, what did I do that demonstrates that that is true? And you make that list. Well, I put a post out today. I connected with my Facebook group today. I did a live today with Michael. I did all those things. And once you call attention to the evidence that you created, that is true, then you check in again. And I usually put my hand on my heart, one on my gut. I am a marketer. Ooh, that feels like a 7, right? And so now it's like, I believe that more. And as I do that, as I do that on a daily basis, eventually it's going to get to a 10. And a 10 is when you're fully aligned, when who you think you are and who you actually are in complete alignment. And once you do that it's somewhere between about like 10 days and like 90 days. And the reason the span is so wide is because trauma plays a large role in this. If you already have a bad habit or a broken belief system, then it's going to take a little bit longer. If you're just trying to create a new one, it doesn't take as long. But you continue to do that and be conscious of that actually being true. And so that's why this one right here, dude, the I am constantly tripping over joyful moments. I've used that to help people get out of being depressed, because when you call attention to something in the beginning of the day, Your mind is
Mm-hmm.
looking for it. Have you ever bought like a new car and you thought like no
I
one else had
haven't,
that
but
car?
yeah.
or like a sweater or something. You get this yellow sweater and you're like,
Yeah,
oh
yeah, yeah.
man, this is fresh. No one
Mm-hmm.
else has got this. And then like you're wearing it, you're like, whoa, that person's got a yellow sweater. That person's got a yellow sweater. The thing is like people were wearing yellow sweaters before you bought one. You just noticed because it was top of mind. And so
Yeah.
this is so we create beliefs and opportunities for us to demonstrate that, making it top of mind. And so the conscious mind is constantly like looking for validation. Is this true? Is it not? Is this true? Is it not? Because everyone's got the little angel on one shoulder, little monster on the other shoulder.
Yeah.
And the angel's telling you, yes, you are. You are a marketer. You are constantly tripping over joyful moments. And the monster's like, nah, you're sad. You suck.
Monster's like, no way, man. No way.
And then at the end of the day, you go and you're like, all right, where's the evidence? You both have been telling me two opposite things. Who's right here? And as you create more evidence, you build more confidence, more certainty in yourself. And it's literally measured by these affirmations.
By all the things that you do. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. And then, okay, but you're measuring it daily, right? To see it. But then you're measuring it by like true, actual, factual evidence. It's real. These things happened.
It's inarguable
To you being whatever you. Yeah, it's inarguable. I love that. Oh, that's so powerful. Can I don't want to derail this conversation too much, but I was wondering. So as we were talking, you were talking about how breaking bad habits is harder to do. So I guess I'll be a little vulnerable on here on the live, but so I have this addiction. I have a porn addiction. Like I do. I don't want to necessarily identify with that because that's definitely not in my identity, but it feels like I've been doing it since I was in middle school. And so what would be an identity, or what would be your guidance for me to break that habit, and then hopefully other people who are watching who have bad habits, have things they don't really want to be doing, or that doesn't necessarily identify or align with their goals? How would you recommend doing that?
That's a great question, and that's a super common problem. And so my question to you would be like, what is it that you get out of watching porn? Like, what does it do for you?
I literally don't know. I guess that like small amount of like, that small amount of pleasure, at the end, but I'm just not even sure.
Well, in precise language, we call the word not avoid, because
I know, I've heard this.
right.
So what do I get out of it? I really got to think.
Pleasure was one thing that you said.
Pleasure. I guess pleasure, and I think I get avoidance.
It's also avoid.
Yeah. Avoidance. Yeah. I think it's pleasure, I guess.
Okay.
I think.
Where else do you outside of porn do you experience pleasure? What are things that really light you up?
Having conversations with people, playing music, writing songs, learning. I love learning. I enjoy books, music, people, conversations, events, just, those are some places. I'm sure there are more.
Yeah. It sounds like connection is is like a big value for you. With all the things that you stated, the learning, the events, and everything in between. It's like, connection is really what you're craving. And that's something that porn provides. It provides a sense of connection. So there's a number of ways you can go about this. Is you could say, when I crave connection, I read a book, I connect, I reach out to friends, whatever the things that make you feel connected are. And so
Yeah.
by doing that, you'll start experiencing more connection consciously, and that will fulfill your need of connection, making it easier for you to not be seeking porn.
Hmm.
When it comes to a a binary kind of habit, it's like, you could state like, every day I don't watch porn, and then it's not a 1 to 10, it's a 10 or a
It's
0.
like, did you do it or not? Yeah.
Right. So that that again, using not is avoid. So choosing the redirect. Okay. So like when you get the urge to watch porn, what is something you can do to give you that feeling of connection?
Reach out to friends. Just
Yeah.
send
Okay.
messages of gratitude to people.
Awesome. So here would be an imprint. When I have the urge to connect through pornography, I reach out and send out gratitude instead. And so
Mm,
then at the end of the day, you're going to ask yourself, like, well, what evidence did I collect that was true? Well, did you have the urge to watch porn today? Yeah. What did you do? Well, I reached out to some friends. How did that feel? I felt great. Okay, sweet. I would try that for 14 days, bro. It'd be a game changer
sure.
for you.
Yeah.
So that's how I would break that one down.
Gotcha. Thank you. Thank you. And then, so you just said so number one, thank you so much. And then I'm going to implement that in the next 14 days. I'm going to take it on. And you said something as you were talking about a binary
Mhm.
habit. What would be like a non-binary habit?
So one would be like it would be more attribute based. So like so people who are like socially shy, an affirmation may be, people light up when I come into a room. Okay. And so
Hmm.
what we would do there is we're like, well, what does lighting up look like? Well, people smile, they talk to me, they maintain eye contact, they stay in conversation with me. And so like you go out to an event and you imprint that in the morning, and then you come back with evidence, like what are all the pieces that showed you that people light up when you walk into a room? So that's a little bit
Hmm.
more dynamic. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it definitely
Yeah.
does. It does. Awesome. Mm. Everyone, if you're on here, we're here with Spencer Burnett. He is the creator of precise language and identity imprinting. He's got a free training. It's coming across the screen along the bottom here. And it's tiny.cc/R reframe. So if you want to find out more, definitely get that as well, and drop any questions below. Drop some hashtags lives, hashtag replay, hashtag identity imprinting mastery, um, whatever you would like to put down there. Questions are good. But yeah, sorry to interrupt the flow for that, but I gotta make sure people know how to connect with you.
Absolutely.
Um, so I asked a couple days ago on my feed for like what people's biggest questions are
Mm.
with their rewiring their brain, or biggest challenges are. So I'm thinking maybe it could be fun if we just go about um, if we go through some of the things that they said they were having challenges with, and maybe you could offer up some ideas and instructions or whatever. Maybe this conversation will lead somewhere else. Who knows? But is that cool?
Yeah. I'm down.
Okay, sweet. So a couple people. So I'll bring up one that I think is probably a lot of people face, or there are a few, but one of them, someone said, is laziness.
Mm. Okay. So, I mean, just laziness in general?
Or so how would you? Yeah, they just said laziness.
Mm.
But I think they mean like they don't take the time to rewire their brain. They don't take the time to go and fix their habits.
Mm.
And then
So,
we have another question here from Lisa.
laziness is actually a void. And because
Hmm.
what qualifies a void is
Yeah.
it violates universal truth, things that are inarguable from the human experience. Don't everyone get on me about quantum physics, all right? So, one, everything is something in somewhere. Two, everything is always moving all the time. And three, everything's true from some perspective. Okay. And so when you say lazy, what do I mean by lazy? Or what do you mean by lazy? You play, well, I don't do anything. Well, don't avoid, because you're always doing something. So my question is, in the moments that you consider yourself lazy, what are you actually doing? And that might be, I'm watching TV, I'm watching YouTube, I'm playing video games. Okay. What do you want to be doing? And so it's like, well, I want to work on my business. I want to, I want to get my message out there. I want to be in shape. I want to find love in my life. Okay. So now we have a vision. What do you want to be doing? And then we ask the next question is like, well, what's the goal? You want to build your business. What does that even mean? Well, yeah, I want to make 6 figures a year doing what I love. Sweet. Now we have a goal. And next we have or the strategy. What do you need to do in order to do that? Well, I need to build a website. I need to create an offer, and I need to market. Okay, we got a basic strategy. I mean, it goes deeper than that. It's like, well, what needs to be done on a regular basis in order for you to do that? Well, I need to spend time, creating this, how many days a week? And then we start building out your schedule. We start building out your habits. And then we ask, like, what are some massive actions that you can take that'll really move the needle? Well, I got to get funding. That's a big one. Okay, cool. So then we say, we do an imprint on every day I love working on my business. And so what does that mean? Well, we just covered that. It means doing your marketing, doing, creating your offer, and all of the other stuff that we talked about, the actions, the habits, the strategies. And at the end of the day, I'm going to ask you, you're going to say, I love working on my business. It's like, great. What did you do today to demonstrate that to be true? And, and give me the things that you did. Because here's the thing with laziness, we tend to demonize the behavior when the behavior is not the problem. I actually ran into this challenge a few months ago, and my head coach, Sam Goodman, actually coached me through it. And I was like, I spend so much time watching like YouTube videos and stuff. I love just, sports analysis. I love like, science videos and nerdy stuff like that.
Yeah.
And he's like, what if like you just love that part of you? I'm like, well, if I love that part of me, then why am I so mad at myself? And I was mad at myself because I felt like I could be doing more. So I'm like, don't focus on stopping something, because stops avoid, because everything's always moving. It's like, well, what is it that you really want to do? And so like, then I tighten up my schedule, and now I get like the evidence that I work on my business, that I get my message out there. Like I feel so good every day. And when I eat, I get to watch a YouTube video. After I'm done working, I get to watch YouTube videos with no guilt. And so laziness is not the problem. It's the lack of action.
Thank you. That was powerful. We have a question here. Somebody live. Hopefully they're still on here. Lisa, thank you for commenting. Jane, Pedram, good to see all of you. But what do you recommend at the end of the day besides rescoring how we feel after the affirmation? Are there other activities to cement our progress?
So go ahead.
I was going to say, I think that you kind of answered this with that you're gathering the evidence, but maybe there's something else that you can fill in.
Yeah. So gathering the evidence is going to put the open loop of the question of, am I really who I said I was? It's going to close that loop, because it's yes or no. Was there evidence? Yes. Was there a lot? Yeah. Okay. Well, now you feel more confident. This is something that I share in my Rewire program, and that we do in our Level Up program, which is my group program that I have. And I show you how to do more specific projections at night, where you take a look at your schedule. You take a look at your schedule from earlier that day, and it was like, well, did I follow all of this? Did I stick to what I committed to? Because at the end of the day, the only game that we're playing, once you got a good plan, and once you're implementing these, the only game that we're playing, okay, the one game that if you get this right, everything in your life gets better, is integrity. And your integrity is when your intentions, your commitments, and your actions are all the same thing. And so I have a way for you to manage your schedule and track your time in a way that is super simple. So we could take a look at your projection, your schedule, who you want to be, and then your reflection, your timekeeper, who you were. And the closer those things are together, the more confidence that you have that you are who you say you are. And once you're like, I am who I say that I am, then all you got to change is who you say you are, and everything else falls into place.
Wow. Dropping absolute gems on the people on this live. Spence Burnett, tiny.cc/R reframe for his free imprinting training, identity imprinting training. I hope that answered your question, Lisa. If it did, if it didn't, ask more questions in the comments, but hopefully it did. Thank you. Still here and loving it. Another question. I find challenges maintaining progress when my normal-ish routine is interrupted. Guests, travel, illness. Any tips to return to good habits more quickly?
Absolutely. So a couple things, and these are some of the techniques that I teach in my reframe course. One of them is to leave space for your bullshit to come up. So, sorry, am I allowed to swear on this channel?
Yeah, I mean,
okay,
yeah,
cool.
we are now. Hello.
I did one podcast where you're not supposed to swear, and then she had to do like a hey warning to anyone listening with children in the car. So, all right, so
Okay,
yeah,
well,
so
maybe I'll add that. Sorry,
so when it comes to planning your week or even planning something for you to do, you've got to leave space for your resistance to show up. So if you have a particular task that needs to be done, it's going to take you 90 minutes to do it. Schedule 2 hours. Leave space for interruptions. Leave space for that, that type of stuff. When you do your weekly planning, where you may have guests come in or travel or or illness come in, like you're prepared for that, like unless a guest unexpectedly pops up. But even if that happens or you unexpectedly get sick, like then you simply just go to your calendar, go to your time blocks, and move them to a space to where you then can renegotiate or make a new commitment
agreement
to yourself. Yeah, a new agreement, that's the word I was looking for. Make a new agreement of, okay, this happened, okay, life happens, your monsters show up, chaos hits, and then you recommit to doing it at a separate time. And so this is why it's really important to do your planning and do it strategically. Abraham Lincoln says, give me 6 hours to cut down a tree, and I'll spend my first 4 sharpening my blade. That's what planning is. And when your planning is tight, execution becomes easy.
That is a gem. Just they keep on coming, Spencer. Thank you so much for sharing all this valuable information. We have another question here. I think there's a good one. What tips do you have about fear of success? And then I'll also kind of tie in here like fear of failure as well together.
So
because I feel like they're similar.
Well, they're two sides of the same coin. And so like, what's that coin? The unknown. If you fail, it's like, well, what am I going to do next? If I succeed, one of the biggest reasons people don't succeed is because they don't know what they would do next once they got the thing that they wanted. It's like when I watched my mom's cat, bat around this little toy mouse, and then once the cat catches it, it's like, okay, and then just drops it and just like kind of just meanders around the house, right? Yeah. And so the fear of success is about, I mean, there's a lot of elements to it, where if we were to have a conversation, we could dig in precise language, like really what's behind that. But the fear of success is not knowing what's next. And so I like to have different phases of my life. I'm in a current, building phase right now. And I know that this phase is going to be completed in June. And so I ask myself, what does this look like when it's completed? And what starts once it's completed? And as long as you've got something to aim for, that's what kind of clears the fear of success. Again, that's very top level. Everyone's fear of success is slightly different, so it's tough to give a specific. tactic to that. And it's the same thing with fear of failure. You know, I would fear of failure is all about if you want to manage that, it's about getting fear insurance. Okay. And fear insurance. So I used to teach guys how to meet women so they can find their unicorn and, you know, be in love. And a lot of times they'd be really, really scared to approach a woman. And so what I would do in my live trainings is I'd be like, all right, when was the time that you wanted to speak to a woman? Oh, I was at a restaurant. There were some girls sitting at a high top table and I wanted to say something. So I put them in that scenario and I put 3 just absolutely beautiful women at a table and he's in front of all the other guys. And I'm like, okay, walk up there and say what you'd want to say. Now, most people would think like, okay, he does that. The girls are nice. And you're like, see, you can do it. Nah, that's not what I do. I wrote scripts for these girls and they were like, they would read the scripts like, Spencer, I'm not saying this. And I'm like, just trust me. So he'd walk up and he'd be like, hey girls, I saw you from across the way. And then they interrupt him. Excuse me. I just want to interrupt you. We saw you looking at us from across the way and we decided before you even came over that we're absolutely not interested. We don't have boyfriends. We just honestly think that we are way too out of your league. So you probably should turn around. And we'll stop him right there. Now, again, no woman's ever going to say that. But what we do is we bring him into the deepest part of his nightmare that he's not willing to visit. And then we ask questions like, what makes you valuable? What makes you lovable? Are you a great guy? And once we bring them to the reality that you're still freaking awesome, then your brain knows that, okay, worst case scenario, I'm still okay. And then all the open loops of fear of failure go away because you know that at its absolute worst, you're still going to be all right. And so really, I call it nightmare therapy. Doing nightmare therapy is the number one thing that I do when it comes to fear of failure.
Wow. That is brutal, but I understand. I understand the point. Okay, awesome. So I know that, so we're coming up here. We got probably about like 10, 15 minutes left. I was wondering if there's anything that you wish that I had asked or wish that we had talked about, but we haven't talked about it yet. And while you're thinking about it, you can take a moment to think about it if you'd like. I just want to let everyone know we're talking with Spencer Burnett. He is a master of precise language and identity imprinting. If you want to get his free identity imprinting training, I believe he's put it in the comments below, or you can go to http://tiny.cc/R reframe for that. So, Spencer, back to you. Is there anything you wish we had talked about, but we have not talked about yet?
Yeah. If it's just this easy, and it is, why don't people do it? And that is something that you have to figure out for yourself. And in my Facebook group, I ask people like, hey, did you do your imprinting today? And sometimes people BS me, but every time anyone does imprinting, like I literally get a notification on my phone for everyone that does it. So you, I know if you did, and if you didn't, why the heck not? What is more important? Honestly, like what's more important to you than your vision? Because we're not just imprinting like, dumb stuff. Like you're imprinting the things that are really that you want to create and you want to embody. These things are important. Being joyful, that's important. Working hard and getting shit done, that's important. Every day I prepare to meet my person. That's important. Getting your message out there, building a life for yourself, building a lifestyle. If you're not doing it, then that means whatever you were doing when you had planned on doing it is more important. And so it's really a game of mindfulness and asking yourself that question. It's in our Level Up program. We do our weekly planning, and in the weekly planning, part of it is tell me what the 3 most critical tasks of the week are that once you do, it'll move the needle forward. And so if you're like, all right, well, I've got to write this email that I've been putting off. I say, okay, When are you going to do it? I'll have it done by Thursday. No. What time are you going to start it? How long is it going to take? Okay. Well, I'm going to start it on Thursday at noon. It's going to take 2 hours. Awesome. Well, in our Facebook group, we do a scheduled post for Thursday at 1 o'clock asking you, hey, Michael, are you ready to write that email? And if you don't do it, if you don't answer back to that, then I just have a simple question. What were you doing instead? And why was that more important? And this gets you to confront the breaking your integrity. I intended to do this. Yeah. I committed to do this, but I did that. Why? And then we can figure out what monsters are impeding your process and get you back on track, course correct, so you follow through with what you commit to. And so it really comes down to your why. And I know that, again, that's like lame life coach bullshit, right? But like what I mean by like your why is like, what is important to you? And if you didn't do it, why? What were you doing? And why was that more important? Mm-hmm. That element of the why is confronting, and it gets people to confront their self-sabotage. This is how you work through that. And then maybe there's a new imprint that we need to upload into our subconscious in order for us to behave in a new way that gets us to follow through. And so in my Level Up program, I'm constantly working, on Mondays, we do our weekly planning. On Tuesdays, we do precise language hot seats, because you get motivated on Mondays, but then sometimes Tuesday comes and you're like, crap. And then on Wednesdays, we do a digital co-working, where for 2 hours, it's like bring the most important thing you got to do. And in these 2 hours, we get on a Zoom call. And at any point in time, I'm like, share your screen. Let me see what you're doing. Because it's about awareness and mindfulness. And I've created very tangible tactics to support people in getting out of their freaking mind and just getting shit done. And that's the basis of it all. Is just like, get unfucked, do some stuff,
Wow. Yeah. If you're not doing what you agreed to do, what you identify with, why not? What were you doing instead, and why? That is absolutely incredibly see. And I love how a lot of what you've been talking about today, most of everything leads with a question.
Yeah.
Like, why? What is the goal? What is this that we're trying to get to? Why are we trying to get there? What were you doing? What's the identity that you align with yourself? What was the evidence that reinforces that? So I absolutely love that.
Yeah.
Spencer, this has been amazing. We have 8 more minutes. Do you think you have time to go through one more little question here?
Yeah, sure. I do have a hard stop at the top of the hour, but yeah, we can knock it out.
I do as well. So, imposter syndrome. How do you slay it?
Imposter syndrome. Imposter is a void, because you are something. Everyone's something, right? And so, like, my question is, what do you want to be? Okay, I want to be, again, I want to be a successful executive. Okay, well, on a scale of 1 to 10, when you say I am a successful executive, like I have what it takes to be a successful executive, on a scale of 1 to 10, how does that feel? It feels like a 4. Okay. This is a little bit advanced. I teach this in my Rewire course. Then I ask the opposite question. What do you feel like you are? I feel like I'm just a low-level employee. Okay, hand on heart, breathe in, and I want you to say it out loud. I am a low-level employee. How does that feel? Oh, that feels like a 10. It feels like a 10. Okay, so now we know how much the monsters got you by. Now my question is, what could you do today or this week to demonstrate that you have what it takes to be a high-level executive? Well, I could first see if there's any openings anywhere. All right, do a little job hunt. What else? I got to put my resume together. Well, put your resume together. What else? I need some leadership training. Cool. Where would you go do that? Well, okay. So now your task for the week, figure out which leadership training that you're going to do and sign up for it. When are you going to do that? I'll have it done by Friday. No, when are you going to start it? I'm going to start it Wednesday at 2. Cool. I'll post Wednesday at 2. Hey, how's it going? When you're done figuring out which leadership training you're going to do, I want you to post the link to the company that you're going to do with, and let us know how much it costs. Like, it's like we turn it into a binary. And the thing is like, it is just like, as you create that evidence, the imposter syndrome just dissipates.
So powerful. It's the same. It is super. It's simple, probably, but it can be challenging, I'm sure. But it's super simple. You just gotta ask yourself where you are, scale 1 to 10. You gotta feel into that. You collect evidence, or you said, well, actually, I'm sorry. It all starts. So you ask yourself scale 1 to 10, and you ask, what would it take to get to the 10? You know, really find those answers, you know, and then that's the evidence that you go after collecting. You just go after it. And you schedule in, this is when I'm going to do it. And then if you don't do it, why didn't you do it at that time? What happened? What was more important? This has been absolutely amazing, Spencer. Again, if you want to connect with Spencer, he does have a free identity imprinting training, tiny.cc/R reframe. Is there anything else that you care to share, Spencer? Otherwise, I will let you go. And I just want to share that I'm super grateful for having you on here, and all the knowledge that you've shared, and all of the lives that you have just impacted by taking your time to do this.
Oh man, I appreciate that. Yeah, it was such a joy to be on this with you. When you hit me up and asked me to do a live with you, I immediately got excited, because I know that you're highly engaged and you ask great questions. The final thing that I want to say is, in the Reframe course is where I teach identity imprinting. I teach you how to create affirmations. I teach you how to do the morning projections, the evening reflections. In addition, we have an accountability system where you put in your email address and phone number, and literally every day in the morning you get a link that says, hey, do your morning projections. And there's literally a form that you fill out that gets emailed to you, in the beginning of the day, or once you fill it out, of what your morning projections and evening projections or reflections are. In addition to that, I offer anyone that completes that course, and I see that you're doing your imprinting, a 15-minute affirmation audit, where we actually go in and discuss, like me and you did here today, and say, hey, this is what I'm dealing with. Here are the affirmations that I came up with. Like, is this the optimal affirmation that will really help me move forward? And then we can adjust those affirmations so they're spot on for you to take your life to the next level.
Oh, so juicy. What a man of contribution and giving and love. I can hear it. I can feel it. Just want to appreciate you again. And I will let you go. I'm going to end this live. If you're on here, check out Spencer, connect with him, get the free identity imprinting training, and drop a hashtag identity imprinting below, or hashtag live, or hashtag replay, or a hashtag Spencer's the man below. But awesome, dude. I appreciate you again, and I'm going to end this live right now. Thank you all so much for being here and watching. You are all super powerful and huge contributions to people in your lives. So go out there and bring the joy.